Vale. Ya debería estar. Pom, 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 pom. Joder, espero que no se me vaya la olla, tío. Me pase el directo. Uf, vale. Un montón de líneas marcadas, tío. Eso es, así es, Sergio. No hay respeto ni por nada ni por nadie. Pero nada. Oye, muy rico, tío, me lo estoy... Es muy cortito. Pero bueno, me lo estoy rejugando en dificultades superiores y eso que te dan más mejoras de armas. Bueno, te dan más opciones de mejoras de armas y demás, está guay, Está entretenido, tío. Y además se ve de la hostia. ¿Qué? Podías entrar, ¿no? O algo, tío, me aburro. Haz una llamadita o algo. O no estás pa llamaditas. Hostia, mira, ya está con la previa, a ver.
I can't believe it's been 2 years since we were together in person in Germany. And in fact, it's been 6 years since we hosted our first ever fan fest with over 1,000 Xbox fans on a giant boat on the Rhine River right there in Cologne, Germany.
Vale, tranqui.
I have so many wonderful memories from back in 2015 with our fans and all the fan fest events that have happened every year since then. I even remember it was raining and that first fan fest, fans were waiting in the rain and they were still so excited just to come in and be part of the event. And Phil Spencer, Major Nelson, and others for the team were there greeting them as they were waiting. I made so many friends from that event. Even to this day, I stay connected with fans
Aaron
around the
Greenberg,
world that I've
creo
met
que
at
es.
FanFest. And on behalf of all of
Los
us at Team
jefazos también.
Xbox, we truly treasure these memories. And we miss being there in person. That's a highlight of the year for us, is to get out and be with our fans in person. We know fans in Germany, across Europe, and from around the world would travel to be there with us at Gamescom. And we will be back with you in the future. But we still want to take a moment to celebrate the Xbox gaming community and the games that continue to connect us. When you meet people face to face and you hear their real stories, you begin to understand the power of social connection.
En su más ajustada camiseta, así es.
This year, I'll miss hosting.
Hostia, lleva la camiseta de la mini nevera más poderosa del mundo, más potente del mundo.
We would do at Gamescom with our studio teams, going out for coffee and answering all the questions that our fans had. But I also love how our FanFest community has grown globally. And hearing stories of fans that are sharing swag
Están todos,
events or
joder.
looking out for each other, especially during difficult times, that really warms my heart. I love the family feeling that our gaming community fosters. And given the state of the world today, for so many people, gaming is now the primary way that many of us stay connected. It is our primary social way to connect with our friends, no matter where they are. And that's why I'm excited to highlight especially our German and European community today and celebrate the connections we formed with them through Xbox. Because whether you're there in person or not, we're still connected through our memories and our passion for games. On behalf of everyone at Team Xbox, to all of the Gamescom gaming community and fans, thank you for the memories. Thank you for joining us here at 2021 Xbox Gamescom stream.
Ah, me estaba preguntando a ver cómo lo habrán planteado este año el tema de la asistencia y eso al evento. No sé cómo lo habrán hecho. Las alemanas tienen una especie así de rollo agresivo, tío, que me pone que flipas, ¿eh? La forma de hablar y eso.
Die sich über die Jahre aufgebaut haben und man auch nur relativ wenig Gelegenheit, sich auf einer persönlichen Basis zu treffen. Ich freue mich immer sehr, wenn neue Spiele vorgestellt werden und dass man natürlich neue Produkte zu sehen bekommt. Und die vielen Merchandising-Stände komplettieren dann das ganze Gesamtbild.
Mit Gamescom verbinde ich ganz stark Community. Einfach, weil meine Erfahrung 2014 habe ich zum Beispiel ein bisschen gefunden.
¿Qué pasa, Gorka?
Genau, weil ich immer herausgefunden habe, dass es Leute gibt,
Eres, sí, vale, Sir Haytown, imagino que eres Gorka, tío. ¿No? ¿Qué pasa, tío?
Oder aus Filmen und allem möglichen. Ja, und da habe ich einfach einige meiner besten Freunde tatsächlich kennengelernt, die ich immer noch sehr wertschätze.
Sí, vienes a eventos especiales, tío. Pensaba que me pediría entrar algún colega, entrar a hablar y eso en llamada, pero creo que la gente tiene cosas mejores que hacer que estar aquí conmigo, tío. Nada, a ver si enseñan algo chulo y nada, pues eso.
Mein Name ist Daniel Heidhorn, Gamertech Schnittgemüse. Und was ich an der Gamescom so toll finde und liebe, ist, dass sie wirklich zentral in Deutschland, in Köln liegt und dass sie alles verbindet, was...
O sea, Colonia se dice Köln-Link.
Videospiele, Cosplay, Stream...
Casi, nada, tranqui, no te preocupes. Ya aparecerá Juanmi. Ya aparecerá Juanmi, tío. Que se no se pierde de una.
Die schönsten Erinnerungen für mich an die Gamescom sind auf jeden Fall die Xbox-Events. Alleine das Xbox Fanfest oder das Xbox Open Doors Event, wo ich wahnsinnig viel Spaß hatte, wahnsinnig coole Leute kennengelernt habe. Und ich hoffe, dass ich das im nächsten Jahr mal wieder erleben kann, weil es fehlt mir wirklich sehr und ich habe da...
Hey Leute, was die Gamescom für mich bedeutet, wollt ihr wissen? Also ich muss sagen, die Gamescom ist für mich schon immer eine riesige Gaming-Community gewesen, wo auch die Xbox-Fans als große Familie...
Tengo ni puta idea de quién es toda esta gente que está saliendo. No sé si son gente de Xbox Alemania, streamers, gente de la industria, o son fans, o no sé.
Gleichgesinnte Leute da, die alle Bock auf neue Games haben, generell, ja, dem Gaming.
Tampoco estoy prestando mucha atención a los subtítulos, todo se ha dicho.
Die Spiele betesten kann, die Community, die man eventuell so kennt, ein Riesentreffen von Gleichgesinnten, die alle Bock auf das Gleiche haben. Das ist für mich Gamescom.
Hey, ich bin Roberta. Die Gamescom ist persönlich für mich ein Event, auf das ich mich jedes Jahr freue. Ich war 2012 das erste Mal da und was soll ich sagen? Ich bin seitdem ein Dauergast geworden. Ich nehme jedes Jahr Urlaub, weil es einfach mega...
¿Ves? Aunque intenten ser amables, tío, es que el propio idioma es como... Parece que te está amenazando de muerte, tío.
Hey troopers, it's Gray from the 4th, 5th European, and I'm here to tell you why I love Gamescom. But if you're into the newest tech, like the brand new Xbox, or the upcoming video game
Venga, un minutito, a ver si enseñan... Hostia, como den fecha del Halo, me bajo los pantalones, aquí en directo.
Die Gamescom bedeutet für mich persönlich extrem viel. Es ist nicht nur ein Urlaub, es ist jedes Mal ein Riesenabenteuer. Jeder einzelne Messetag ist speziell und man weiß nie, was passiert. Ich habe so viele lustige und tolle Dinge erlebt und möchte keine Sekunde davon missen.
Was war die schönste Erinnerung an die Gamescom? Als ich mit meinem Rollstuhlfahrer-Onkel, der ist jetzt schon über 60, den habe ich mitgenommen und der war ganz begeistert von dem Xbox-Stand. Alles war ebenerdig, die Anspielstationen waren breit genug für einen Rollstuhl.
Estos rubios así con melenita y bigote, tío, yo creo que deberían tener una tribu urbana propia. Son lo suficientemente carismáticos como colectivo. Y esta disfrazada de Cortana, tío. Empieza, ¿no? A ver. Hostia, hay mucho japonés ahí, ¿eh? Vale, Flight Simulator. Cero sorpresas.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Gamescom 2021.
Buah, empiezan con chapa, no empiezan con juegos. Mala señal, ¿eh? Bueno. El Psychonauts este lo tengo que poner a descargar. Que está con el Game Pass y lo quiero probar mañana. Muy bonito. ¿Cómo se ríe?
Will Kate win $5? I guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Let's get started with Techland and their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2.
Mira, Dying Light 2. Mira, mono.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer. And this is David Lubrica, animation director. Hi.
Lubrica, Sergio, este te caería bien,
To finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go!
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this. Probably like
es que la calidad del streaming es basura, tío.
People had their ambitions, plans, lives.
¿Cuánto están emitiendo?
The virus started,
80p, 60,
but
pero
it was
acá
the
Virrey.
people who made the world the way it is.
A 6000.
This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series?
No, no, no. No es con VR, en principio. O sea, el primero ya estaba en consolas, en Play 4, Xbox One y PC.
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timon? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor
La verdad es que
banks and large billboards?
si el primero ya era bastante guapo en temas de movilidad, y eso, bueno, yo lo poco que probé en la demo, este segundo todavía tiene mejor pinta.
But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me.
Van mal sincronizados los subtítulos.
A whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks. For example, by rebounding from their bodies, jumping them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the movement really well and made it quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful.
Es lo mejor que puedes hacer en realidad.
Higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
No, tranquilo, la PS5 ya se quema sola.
Summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Gracias.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, York Newman, to the stream. York, thank you for being here. The last time we met was at the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious.
Hola, Jero. De momento el Dying Light 2
one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is
ha enseñado así un trailer gameplay bastante guapo. La verdad es que la calidad del streaming no le está haciendo justicia a lo que están enseñando, pero bueno, de momento solo eso. Grande Seken.
There have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now, so it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
all right.
I want to go to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris.
Top Gun, tío.
So you and I talked about
Está el otro mono por aquí. ¿Dónde está Carlos?
The fans are super excited. They saw the FA-18. They can't wait to start flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie. But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we. So I can still not tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6. And this world update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane flying into Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And what that means to us is we have new aerial and satellite images. We have a new elevation map that helps us with the mountains. So the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new 3D cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany. We have Basel in Switzerland. we have Vienna and Graz in Austria, and those cities look just amazing. They have like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs, and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation, and we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany.
Que estos juegos yo ni me molesto en probarlos porque no les saco.
And what it ties it all together.
Parece que no me llama demasiado la atención.
We're having new discovery flights. We have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of the world. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so
Gorka, gracias por ese Prime, tío, qué grande. Se ha visto, ha saltado la alerta, ¿no? Se ha escuchado, ¿no? La alerta. Tío, que...
Yeah, I think it's really cool, but you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation and you love aviation like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation.
Bienvenido al circo, tío.
You know, the first
al circo de
experience
payasos.
with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends.
Celebremos los aviones,
planes that are
Grande, Roberto. Sí, no. Yo lo he dicho según ha empezado. Según ha empezado, no ha empezado con juegos, ha empezado hablando. Y he dicho, esto ya es un indicador de por dónde van a ir los tiros. Nada, están hablando de las cosas que están incluyendo, de las mierdas, de detallitos, que esto para los más frikis es canela pura, pero es que esto a mí... Es que paso de meterme en uno de estos, tío, porque no lo aprovecho.
For the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers, and he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs. And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world. And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really bring to celebrate this plane, to bring them back.
Es que te iba a preguntar, Gorka, a ver si viste la WitcherCon, tío, de hace unos pocos meses. Que la presentadora, yo creo que es la presentadora más cañón que han puesto en un evento, tío. ¿Cómo era la chavala esta? Julia Hardy, tío. Se te va la olla. When we come in with our scanning equipment and we're basically capturing their planes, and they know that we can digitally preserve them. Tuvieron control de mandos, pero solo se venden volantes. No, esto pues está... Esto, de hecho, desde que lo sacaron en PC ya se podía jugar con mando normal de Xbox o de Play. Sí. Lo que pasa es que claro, lo juegas, sí, para jugarlo con mando tienes que jugar con 200.000 ayudas. Tienes que jugarlo prácticamente con el simulador apagado y con el arcade puesto. Claro, y das fácil a correr.
Basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing their plane and their aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot going on inside of Microsoft
que yo sepa, por lo menos la Xbox sí que es compatible con un montón de mierdas de PC. Así de volantes locos, así de rollo de avión. Y la peña, si tú buscas este juego en Twitch, ¿cómo le emite la gente pro? O sea, tienen montada una que flipas, o sea, parece que están dentro de un avión. Es increíble, tío. Hay un montón de controles y así, hay un montón de mierdas.
We go to the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
Es que no me vale esto de capturado en 4K si luego la emisión está a 1080, tío. O sea, no me vale. Avioncitos. Venga, cambiarme.
You know I like going fast, and you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world, there's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on it to participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
Carreritas.
Thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game
Gran expansión del Wasteland 3 han dicho también que van a enseñar después del Forza Horizon 5. A ver. Que está, igual le interesa al mono. Pero bueno, el mono estará pintando lo que sea, con esto en silencio, tío. Vale, pues sí, pues retaila de indies, así rapidita, ¿no?
Build a weapon that'll turn us into newborns again. Build a weapon, one that blows the world away. Build a rocket that'll come and take away us all. Gonna come back.
No, todavía no se la ha acabado, ¿no? Porque le he visto esta mañana jugando. O sea, después de 12 años lo ha dejado ahora. Yo tengo colegas que han estado sin jugar 12 años y han vuelto ahora. Y están en este chat.
Yep, somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now, we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that in grand retro fashion...
Se acaba de pasar además esta... Ni sé cómo llamarlo, pero todos los bosses de la raid. Ya, estos de aquí sabrán. Esto es el Hero y... el TV Lurker, ya sé que está por aquí, eso sabrán más. Yo del WoW ni puta idea, te digo que no. Oye, me habían dicho Forza Horizon 5 no sé qué. Me enseñan aquí esto, parece Doom. Imagino, sí. Pero tenía que terminarlo porque... así al menos eran top 13. Hostia, joder. Unos días de corte. Joder, che. Sí, ¿no? Tienes amigos que cocaína, ¿no? Con el puto WoW, tío. Pues sí. Yo tengo aquí un colega, el TV Lurker, en 3 semanas le ha metido, no sé cuánto dijo el otro día, 200 y pico horas. También le ha metido en 3 semanas, o no sé cuánto tiempo, tío. Está pero machacado del cerebro.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk Age 4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that. And we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
Tenías que hablar de lo de puta, ya ves, una puta, tío.
Put me in suspense. I want to know more.
Una puta que parece polaca.
Okay, wait, you get one moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So, what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are
Eso para los pillados de PC también canela.
And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called hands-on histories. And what they are is a great way to
Sí, lo anunciaron. ¿Cuándo lo anunciaron este? Lo anunciaron en el E3 o no sé cuándo. O unos Games Awards igual.
Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Puta vieja del año.
I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of the most popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the Trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I gotta see. Let's take a look.
No creo que... Esto debería tirar, me cago en Dios, en una calculadora.
Was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls.
No, bueno, pero con estos juegos lo que les pasaba también es que cuando se juntaban un montón de personajillos y eso ahí en pantalla se ralentizaban bastante. Imagino que esto con las CPU de ahora lo habrán subsanado.
One of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th
tiene una catapulta de verdad ahí,
a
lanzar estiércol al reino de al lado. Fantástico.
It has several key features.
El Age of Empires 2 junto con la expansión es de los juegos de mi infancia, sí, ¿no? Yo es que no tuve PC para jugar. Bueno, sí tuve PC, lo que pasa es que lo tenía acaparado mi padre todo el día, tío. Y yo tenía que jugar a la Super Nintendo, que solo tenía el Super Mario World y un juego de tenis ahí chungo, tío. La fake Anapeletti, esa que ha salido, me la pido.
What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving.
Ya, encima te la sacan ahí agarrando un palo, tío. ¿Qué más quieres?
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching.
¿Por qué me están explicando cómo funciona una catapulta?
When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
Sí, es como que para meterte un poquito ahí.
Follow the same trajectory. They all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. Oh, this one must weigh about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress
Tiran a los muertos, tío. Ha dicho que también tiraban nidos de abejas, tío. ¿Qué necesidad hay de hacer una esfera perfecta? Pues es un tema de aerodinámica también, ¿eh? Minas Tirith las empresas random y bien que buena gente. También es cierto, ¿eh?
You know I'm gonna say trebuchet. Don't care, because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so one of the
el tema de tirar una esfera es el rozamiento del aire que hace que se desvíe menos. Que si es oblicuo, que si tiene forma oblicua.
And you could say that about
aerodinámica.
But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to
Pero
be
como el
that kind
hop-up
of
de las armas de Airsoft. Sé lo que es el Airsoft y las armas de Airsoft, pero no sé lo que es el hop-up.
Humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we tried to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV, and they've done production on an amazing amount of shows.
Va girando para llegar más lejos, sí. Eso hacían con las plumas que les ponían a las flechas en ciertas culturas y demás. No se ponían las plumas rectas junto con la, digamos, siguiendo la línea de la flecha, se ponían torcidas, se ponían un poquito en diagonal para que la flecha girase también y con ese giro como que también, como que se desvía menos, llega más lejos. Las balas también en las pistolas y en los rifles y eso, los cañones por dentro tienen como una especie de tallo espiral, una espiral que hace que la bala gire al salir.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all over the place. So, you know, we've got
No sabía que las armas de Airsoft también hacían eso, tío. Me parece bastante loco.
Arrows from not going out when you shot them, and so.
Se les ha caído. Se les ha caído el directo, che. Hola. Porque esto está online. O sea, la misión está online, pero. Sí, mira el chat. Fs, venga, Fs. No me lo puedo creer.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys. Age of Empires always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way, and I also love to mention this to people that you and the team do so much research, and it's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But I mean, what was that approach like to sort of sell going forward, especially since it's such a unique in-game experience?
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I was really wanted to do is try to tell.
Están emitiendo de verdad que es lamentable, tío.
But I'll tell you, like full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking because we're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game. Like we're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun. And finding that middle ground has been really challenging. And every time we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories, I've been like, oh God, it's gonna work? Like, people gonna like this? And the great thing is so far, everyone that's really experienced the entire thing put together have just been like, wow, this is great. And it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. So, so far so good, right? But yeah, it's been a journey, to get all this done and put the whole game together.
Well, I love that you mentioned journey because we are coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh, well, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title. And if you're really, really excited, right now, you can go onto the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now. And of course, we will be there day one, Xbox Game Pass for PC as well. So anyone that's on that can just grab the game and start playing. But
yes, I believe you are a part of something very special.
Yes, so Gamescom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be something Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan, you probably should tune in.
Me han engañado, me habían dicho que van con el Forza Horizon 5 y aquí estamos viendo catapultas, tío.
Always a pleasure, Kate.
Always a pleasure. Age of Empires 4 looks fantastic, so I cannot wait. October 28th, neither should you. Now, we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for State of Decay 2 and an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 with our friends at Playground Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch, and no buying a new console just to play with your friends. See how the vision of cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
que metan esto en las Xbox One es de puta madre. O sea, es de putísima madre, porque los juegos que no salgan en la One los puedes jugar por streaming, tío. Los juegos nuevos así tochos que no tiren en One o no los saquen ya porque... por X o por B.
Cloud gaming is phenomenal. That's pretty great. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
This actually looks so good.
Games are large and you want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard drive. Xbox Cloud Gaming is about being able to discover the new ones right away. It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It should be as easy as finding the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p at 60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find
Bueno, Gorka, tío, gracias por pasarte, por dejarte el Prime, la hostia. Mil gracias, tío. Un abrazote, tío, y a ver si estamos un día de estos, a ver si se acaba la mierda esta de una puta vez ya. Estamos todos vacunados y podemos movernos, tío.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Sí, eso es.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits.
Hostia, es cierto, ya te vi en Twitter ahí alguna mierda así. En casa nueva y eso, puta madre, tío.
Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
There's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can make content more readily available and let people play where they want to. Sign me up. I'm ready for cloud gaming right now. Let's do it. When's the release date? When does it release?
Tío.
August 9th saw the release of the free Optimize update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X, with beautiful and rich visuals thanks to the addition of ray tracing and
Están estirando mucho el chicle con lo del Forza Horizon 5, me estoy rayando.
This is the perfect opportunity to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the live Q&A to get your burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our friends at Playground Games will give us an extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
Como que later on, me cago en Dios.
That includes never-before-seen areas of the game map, plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk Wasteland 3. Their newest DLC introduces us to a new cult. The Cult of the Holy Detonation.
The Holy Detonation is life. Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The Holy Detonation's life-giving glow should be shared with everyone. May the light of the Holy Detonation purify you. Join us, Rangers.
With new patches, bug fixes, and added features, like fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age to really savor the game's bouquet. We're talking with inXile game director David Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
I'm super stoked to be here, thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, inXile Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working nonstop full tilt, trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs, added stability, and I really think that the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The Cult of the Holy Detonation. Now, talk about that a little bit. Tell me what's going to go into this DLC. What should we be excited about?
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find two warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god. And, these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team. How generous!
Yeah, that sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I may have joined in the past, but this is typical Wasteland fashion. We're really going to be able to get in there and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, what could go wrong? And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steeltown, right? You had giant robots and things like that. So, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted returning players to find something that they could never find in another version or in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists, but talk to me about these big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland combat and we breathed new life into it with objective-based combat, which are basically super rad boss battles. It's no longer you're huddling in a corner, throwing down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now combat doesn't end until the mission is over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech cultist rituals. You are splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Everyone on your team has a job, and I really think this is going to take old players who know their ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight-up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for getting a little silly.
Right.
What are some of the weird characters we can expect in some of the story encounters we'll see in the game?
Yeah, with Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got to cut our devs loose and just let them be creative and fun and silly. inXile's modus operandi is if we're brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up the pieces afterwards. Because we want to make something that entertains us, and then we know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, really letting you get deep into this weird radiation cult, and let you interact with them and talk with them, and tell stories and maybe even join them.
Estoy mirando Twitter.
And so, for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet, is this slathering beast. He's got claws and fangs and spikes. spikes jutting out, and he's drooling, but he's like the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain. Like you meet him and he's like, hey guys, you should like come in here and like soak up some of these rads, it'll be great. And he Sherpas you in and lets you meet the whole cult. And another one of my favorites is the Proteus. He's what you get if you took like 20 cultists and you like melted them into a big pile, kind of like I would do this with like a magnifying glass. I would like melt like army guys and like GI Joes into a big pile, and he's wet and sloppy and gross and he's hard to understand and he needs a translator supposedly, but he's like your #1 fan. And getting to build like this totally out there wild extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick, and he's an
Pero no sé si estás por ahí.
Even some of the weapons that you find.
Una cosilla te quería preguntar, a ver qué móvil tienes, en qué el cloud gaming y eso, en qué móvil lo probaste, tío. Por curiosidad simplemente, no por decirte nada, simplemente por saber. Porque yo tengo un par de móviles también y probé en el viejo y me iba regular, pero creo que es por el teléfono y no es poco potente ni nada, pero creo que simplemente no está optimizado para la CPU que tiene o algo, que es de Huawei y no va del todo fino. Y ahora tengo un Acer.
But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3.
Y tengo que probarlo, tío. No lo he probado en este teléfono.
Players wanting to get into this.
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because of all the work we put into it over the past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it. And then you can get both expansions with the expansion pass.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we've talked about, you know, spewing pus bags and these weird characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th. And we're really stoked.
That is awesome. So this is the Cult of the Holy Detonation.
Cult of the Holy
Detonation coming October 5th. David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Barish. Appreciate it.
All right. In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of Thieves has played host to some incredible crossovers, including unique ship sets inspired by games like Battletoads, State of Decay, Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players an all-new ship as a part of the latest wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves. Better yet, this event begins tomorrow. So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves. And we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life, and giving all of our players the chance to earn it as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the link. So you can probably guess the kind of activities that are involved, but if you head to Lorena at any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn the ship set. So we hope everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time-limited event. So it starts today, and it runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So, as always, I will see you on the seas.
Villa Gates, Villa Gates Illuminati. Villa Gates. Muy bien. Vale. Pues nada, pues Villa Gates. Se acabó.
It's always been a dangerous world in Trumbull Valley. But now, it's hope that brings us back together.
Esto es un State of Decay, creo.
It builds new bonds.
Mucho bueno, mucho español, español, España, España, mucho bueno, mucho.
The greatest weapon we have.
Sí, imagino. O algún modo nuevo, alguna mierda.
To Trumbull Valley.
Sí, eso es Jero, exactamente. Pero vamos, a mí esto ya lo probé, no me gustó demasiado. Madrid no se conforma con punto. Dijo el gran B.
Old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Labs Director of Communications, Wonder Russell. Hello, Wonder, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here. Talk about
es que era cooperativo y eso y no.
September 1st. We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
No me atrajo demasiado.
You are indeed. So let's talk about the Homecoming update. Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update, back in 2019. Talk to me about the differences, and I'll sit right here and listen because you're adorable.
So Heartland is the story mode within the game, but it's a very linear, narrative-driven experience.
Vale, como una especie de modo historia. Vale.
So that's all.
Claro, es que no tenía modo historia este, bueno, o modo historia, era una especie de, no sé, era raro, tío. Es que era raro.
Two territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
So then, would Homecoming be a sequel?
La forma de progresar era haciendo campamentos y mierdas, no me acuerdo muy bien. Un arcoíris,
kind of play out, see what happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the third part of our Trumbull saga that began with the original State of Decay game, continued into Heartland, and now we see what has happened since then and what storylines might be coming to a close. So there is a lot for players to discover, a lot of environmental storytelling to find, and things have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull Valley that players might remember. So that's going to be exciting.
Interesting. Well, and anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have a juggernaut of content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton of new content. In fact, we're doing something unique with the Trumbull Valley map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons. We've got 6 new bases, 2 new achievements for achievement hunters. And on top of that, we are adding the game's 12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest weapons I have ever seen go into the game. I'm so excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who sees that second fun of the day. That works out great. Well, let's talk about the State of Decay community, because it's absolutely an integral part to this entire franchise. And State of Decay being on Xbox Game Pass,
decir que tendrá su comunidad, tendrá su nicho y eso, porque
it's been fantastic, and we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say, we did it, you get it. And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million lifetime players.
10 million lifetime hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that.
Really grateful.
Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations.
10 million lifetime quiere decir que desde que salió el juego lo han probado al menos 10 millones de personas.
So the update releases September 1st. It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with
Que
Xbox Game Pass.
Es, bueno,
Happy
más.
homecoming.
I love it. Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples, and long dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
Mi amo en un estilo Souls. Oh.
In Strayblade, you discover the mystical lost valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dues to stab blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even
Con gráficos así desenfadados, ¿no? Como diría Juanmi, simpáticos.
There's clearly a lot going on here, so let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Strayblade.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, Game Director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Strayblade. Strayblade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, muster the powers of the 3 Akrian metals to restore balance to this war-torn land.
Yes. That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements of our game. Let's dive into the combat first. Our combat system merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions. It is the high noon of skill-based melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations and epic cinematic finishers. You can choose from multiple weapon categories that can be combined to fit your playstyle. Now, let's take a look at the exploration. Akria's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world bristling with adventure.
Un Souls de dibujitos, tío.
Treasure.
Por
Find
fin.
rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you.
Se nota que es escuetito, que es una cosa así no muy ambiciosa. Pero bueno, yo qué sé, pues uno más, ¿no?
And of course, get ready for epic boss fights. We hope you enjoyed the first look at Strayblade, which will be out next year.
Sí, no, artísticamente no, la verdad es que... Fíjate que artísticamente me gusta más el Immortals, y eso que tampoco es santo de mi devoción. Es que el Immortals sí que sabe ser bonito así, de esta forma así, con gráficos de Fortnite, como quien dice.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom, and evil twins apparently.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention bringing the grand strategy experience to my comfy living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3, now coming to Xbox consoles.
My son, we must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed. He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords. Only a small mind
No RTS, eh?
measure success across the span of a single life. The real game is played across generations. You see, real strategy requires cunning.
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old the King of England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird like diving into people's brains and
Una hora y no hemos visto
exploring
demasiado, la
universes
verdad.
projected into a psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird?
Exactly that kind of weird, which means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It has been so long.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really is indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, when Psychonauts originally came out, was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year, we're talking Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure. But they were all big, beefy shit.
Sí, yo quiero probarlo, a ver.
Meanwhile,
Joder, le están poniendo buenas
Psychonauts had
notas, tío.
humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
Well, this shouldn't take too long.
Dice Mbappé. Pues mira, igual lo pongo ahora a descargar. Además, este sale también en PC.
My name is Raz, and I'm the new.
Podría hacer la comparativa, a ver en dónde me va mejor, tío. Si en la consola o en el PC.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment to interns.
You did what? Can't we just... No.
Quit picking on the
Tiene un estilo peculiar este juego, la verdad, de los personajes y así, tío.
Got eyes on the target. And I've got eyes on me.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Malígula. Va, colorines, dame.
It wouldn't be the first time the Psychonauts underestimated Maligula's power.
Leave it to me.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know, the meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette T-Tree Montgomery.
No,
I am
dear.
definitely dating myself, but you all
Team
welcome
Schafer.
from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16
este,
years? I almost said 19 years.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because the story picks up right where the first game left off. And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans, it meant a lot to them. And so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people like Lisette.
Thank you. It was really important for us to carry the legacy forward, especially the cool style of Wonk that is very prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French Bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be? And in Psychonauts, you get to do that because Raz has the power of astral projection. And when he goes in, he gets to fight those monsters and help people deal with their nightmares and wrestle with their inner demons. And so there's a ton of variety, and there's a lot of anything goes. We can go to any location, we can have any art style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was really fun to do.
Well, I loved it from the first game, certainly. Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2 has got it all over the place, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was really important for us to carry forward the unique brain worlds and unique levels from the first game and the unique style as well. So we were really focused on how we could bring forward that style in Wonk and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts without new mental demons, and I'm sure it's happening in Psychonauts 2.
What does this mean?
Does it mean basically
Cojones.
that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety in the face?
Well, I don't know if you get to slap anxiety in your face.
No, la verdad es que lo están haciendo bien aburrido, bien chingón.
In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back. Our sensors are our
Está chulo,
favorites.
pero
Definitely here. And in addition to that, we also have our doubts and some new enemies. There's our lovely sensor. Also,
¿Qué están diciendo en Twitter?
Some flying regrets. There are a ranged enemy, and they definitely are challenging. Our doubts are our slow, sticky melee enemy. You're also seeing our enabler here. He energizes our whole combat troop. So we have a whole cast that you can battle and fight with.
Including the new Bad Mood.
Sí, o sea, una puta mierda, pero vamos.
Storm of feelings that you have to fight.
Now, for those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox
Jero, con que digan la fecha, me doy por satisfecho, tío.
Tim, why is Raz so good?
Con que me den una fecha exacta, ya me digan el veintitantos de noviembre, el no sé cuántos de octubre, o lo que sea, ¿sabes? Es que estamos ya prácticamente, tío. Estamos ya entrando en septiembre y no sabemos nada de la fecha y se supone que sale a finales de este año.
To use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together, and he can connect 2 thoughts and actually connect 2 thoughts together.
Ya están quitando cosas de salida por lo que he escuchado. De salida no va a haber campaña cooperativa. O sea, el modo cooperativo en la campaña no va a haber. Modo forja y alguna mierdita más. Creo que no iba a haber de salida. Pero no sé qué más.
But let's talk about the story for a second, because as the original Psychonauts, we saw Raz training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps he's part of a whole organization at this point. And are there other brain agents, other Psychonauts out there that maybe grew up in a completely different circus?
Yeah, we have a lot of new characters in this game.
We do.
Eso sí, esas dos cosas parecen. O sea, el modo cooperativo en la campaña y el modo forja. Son dos cosas que yo prácticamente no usaba. Bueno, a lo mejor la campaña en cooperativo sí que molaría a lo mejor darle la primera vuelta con alguien, pero... O sea, es lo mismo, tío. Si sale con la campaña y el PvP, me sirve.
Circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him in front of all his new friends, and so the interns find out that he's the awkward middle child of a circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. And so a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation of the Psychonauts themselves.
Well, I like that.
Los
And of course,
chichonauts.
as you might know already, I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world exactly
La peña
be
flipando
meeting
lo
for
gordo
that?
con el Dying Light 2, por lo que parece también.
You can get back to the beef and play Psychonauts 2 on August 25th on Xbox Game Pass and PC.
There it is. Lizette, Tim from Double Fine, thank you so much. And you know what? Extend a huge congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Thank you so much. We're very excited.
Thank you.
And you can catch more of Tim Schafer and ask him those burning questions about the newest game in the fan favorite franchise in our Xbox Play stream tomorrow. But first, we're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets in this supremely satisfying 4K 60 trailer for The Gunk.
Se van a pegar aquí 2 horas de mierda, tío. De morralla para dejar al final el Forza y el Halo. La verdad. El de Gunk este no tenía fecha. ¿Esto qué es, tío? Ah, este me suena, sí, el de las respirando y eso. No tengo muy claro de qué va esto, tío. Pues sigue sin fecha.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on! And hey, you know what? Great job on that Flight Sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to Jorg is always a blast, and Flight Sim is such a special game to me because, I mean, it's literally letting me travel the world. But I was staring daggers of jealousy watching you talk to Tim and Lizette over at Double Fine.
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you, be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well, I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays stream.
Me gastaron todas las balas en
Don't
E3,
forget,
tío.
Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox, so make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4, arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full vroom vroom experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom edition of the game launches.
No sé por qué, pero bueno. A la más mandos, tío, me cago en Dios. Se llama el juego, hostia. Qué fumada es esta de mando, chaval. Ya, se ven los motores de vibración, claro. Guapísimo, pero... Tío, yo cremando, tío. Está bien. Limitada.
Charlie here, and I'm at Playground Games with Forza Horizon creative director Mike Brown and Forza Horizon art director Don Arceta. Hello, everybody.
Bueno,
everyone.
es algo bonito por fin.
Hey, Charlie. How cool is this?
That is stunning. Look at that. Well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally splayed right across the front. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. It just feels like it's a part of the Horizon Festival, like it's just dropped out of the game into your lap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's been quite difficult to decide where to start. So can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah. So Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom to beautiful and vibrant Mexico. Players are going to set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds
Este era el que le gustaba a Sergio, este tío.
Yeah, and people think that Mexico is just a desert or a beach, but there's so much more to it, isn't there?
That's right. Even though it does have pretty awesome beaches and a number of amazing deserts, it also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering
snow-capped volcano,
the highest point we've ever had in Horizon.
Hay que ir a México una vez en la vida, por lo menos.
So you talked about how Forza Horizon 5 showcases powerful, all-new graphical features, but what more can you tell us about that?
So yeah, our Mexican HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life.
Ray tracing is utilized on Forza Vista. O sea,
as you travel throughout the world, all
rendered
in striking realism.
Oh, that's such an exciting overview. I cannot wait. And next up is something we know that Forza Horizon fans have definitely been waiting for the most. Mike, what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's right. We are about to reveal the cover of Forza Horizon 5, featuring the incredible Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. Should we take a look?
Let's do it, yeah.
Ay. Vale, pero esto es lo del tráiler. Vale, esto no. Bah. Esto es un puto espectáculo. Es que se mire por donde se mire, che.
Now, those are two very different ways to explore Mexico. So what I want to know is why those two cars were chosen and what players can expect when they get behind the wheel.
Yeah, so those differences are exactly why we chose them. The Mercedes AMG 1.
No estoy tan seguro. Igual va mejor de FPS a resoluciones menores que 4K. A 1440p, por ejemplo, a lo mejor sí que lo puedo poner. Bueno, no sé, a lo mejor. Es que a saber luego cómo tirar el juego en PC, que estos juegos me cago en Dios.
Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see?
Sí, se lo utilizas bien, pero para buenas máquinas.
Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features from Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out?
I think we should.
Dale durísimo. Tío, he echado la mano al mando, te lo juro, ¿eh? Te juro que he echado la mano al mando, tío. Qué fumadones se monta esta gente, ¿eh? Te vas a venir al volcán, tío. Qué chido, ¿eh? Cabrones.
Here we take control of the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands atop the towering, snow-capped Gran Caldera volcano.
See you on the other side.
Emplea 30 FPS, muy mal. Sí, la música de estos juegos también es de echar de comer aparte, también. Una selección de temazos bastante importante. la calidad de vídeo sea basura.
There might be a little bit of traffic ahead. Watch out for that.
De los Forza Hero suelen sacar demo casi siempre, ¿no? De salida también. Con el juego suelen sacar una demo así bastante curradita, tío. No muy larga, pero que te lleva un poquito por todos los lares, tío. Ay. Dale con el Corvette a fuego.
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray tearing up the asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
A mí todos, pero el 2, el 3, el 4, todos me probé la demo y luego al final me los acabé pillando, tío. Incluso el Forza 6 y el 7 creo que también los Motorsport. No estoy seguro, tengo que mirar mi biblioteca a ver si tengo los dos. Yo no sé si ni siquiera si tengo los dos. Sí, yo también. O sea, ya pues el 3 se salió por allá por 2016 o así, yo creo. No se ve nada, tío. Ahí. Flamenquine. Sí, te vienen con un Porsche ahí en la jungla, tío.
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer, crashing through the dense jungle tree canopy.
Flamingos!
¿Tú este te lo vas a pillar, Jero, o lo vas a jugar de Game Pass? Igual seguramente me lo acabaré pillando, ¿eh? Qué maravilla con la música y todo. Bueno, qué puta fumada, tío. ¿No te da cierta pena pillarte los DLCs, tío, sabiendo que luego cuando los retiran y demás, tío? Porque los quitan del Game Pass también, ¿eh? Luego no puedes aprovechar esos DLCs, tío, volver a jugarlos y demás. La verdad es que con los nuevos lanzamientos y eso como que no merece la pena tampoco volver, pero bueno, no sé. Algo que pagas, ¿no? Ya, vale. Sí. Y ya sea en la etapa final de su vida, pues sí, también es bueno. Yo ya veré, no sé. Si me da así la neura, porque creo que además ahora en septiembre se me acaba el Game Pass, creo, ya hace 3 meses que pillé la Xbox. Igual me pillo esto Game Pass de 6 meses, ahí valen 40 pavos o así, tío. Vaya trocolón se fuma esta gente, es increíble.
And on the final leg, we have
En
the
el fondo,
stunning
los que
Mercedes
tenían los
AMG1 at
DLC
full
solo
speed across
les
Mexico's
dan acceso al
Sun
juego
Bake
igual o
rocky
así, ¿o qué? Les han regalado el juego, mira, pues joder. Joder. Solo falta que venga Phil Spencer y te la chupe, tío. O sea... Lo hicieron con el Horizon 3. Pero si no lo han hecho con el Horizon 3, te puedes ir olvidando prácticamente. O con el 2. Bueno, con el 2 igual sí es más antiguo. Y no tenían estas políticas. No, no. El Game Pass. Puedes pillarte Gold, que es más barato. Ya, dices... Luego te pillas un código de una semana de Game Pass Ultimate. Pero como no entiendo muy bien. Y se te pone lo que tenías de Gold. Ya. O sea, yo si ahora pillo Gold, no se me extiende el Ultimate que tengo ahora mismo, ¿no? Yo ahora mismo tengo Game Pass Ultimate. Si pillo Gold no se me extiende, ¿no? O como... O sea, tengo que pillar Gold y luego pillar Game Pass, o como... No sé, es que no sé. Puedes comprar en Turquía un año de Gold por 33 euros. Pero eso cuando se te acabe todo. Ahora. Stay tuned for the further let's go stream on Twitch. Thanks for watching. ¿Ya ha terminado entonces esto? Se acabó, ¿no? Se acabó, ¿no? Dice la gente. O sea, no ha habido ni fecha de Halo, ni de Holo, ni Hulu. Ah.
Well, that was absolutely incredible, and I know I for sure
Pero,
will never get tired of
pero
cars
estos cortes,
parachuting
tío.
out of planes anytime soon. But I am going to need a minute to
Estaba
process
flipando,
the
pensaba que había
amazing
terminado,
gameplay we
tío.
just watched, which works out just fine because we need to welcome everyone who just is
No, que no ha
joining us
terminado,
right now.
tío.
So for those of you who just turned up, we have just wrapped the Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream and have so much more content to cover. So please sit back and enjoy our latest episode of Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go live with Playground Games. We have an excellent show coming your way. So first, in case you missed it, we're going to be recapping the major Gamescom announcements from just a few moments ago, as well as taking a closer look at the Forza Horizon 5 Limited Edition Xbox wireless controller and the initial drive gameplay. Then we'll take the freshly announced cover cars for a bit of a spin and debut a brand new showcase event, as well as a few more cars along the way. So, Mike and Don, that was all very, very exciting, but I think, first of all, we need to talk a bit more about the controller, because wow,
No.
statement. Can
Mierda.
you tell us a little bit?
Mierda, salió en el directo, tío. Me cago en Dios. Tío, por nada. Hágase una foto el mono. ¿Qué ha pasado? ¿Qué está pasando, tío? Che, por Dios, Ya está bien, Está bien. Ya vale. Hola, Juanmi. Acabas de entrar, se ha caído el directo, no sé qué ha pasado. Ah, no, que sigue. Joder,
powder
tío, se le está petando el
explosions
streaming
and the
este,
colors
tío.
on the
¿Qué
car,
andan?
on the cargo plane and whatnot. I mean, integrating that into the controller's been a lot of fun.
Nada, Juanmi, nada, novedades cero, o sea, nada. De momento nada destacable. O de momento llevamos hora y media.
Just one, in case anyone missed that detail, it is, and there is an additional detail as well, because it also comes with some exclusive car DLC, right?
It does. Yeah,
Sí, del Forza Horizon 5 sí que justo acaban de terminar. Bueno, no, están en ello de momento todavía. Parece que todavía sigue.
roll the VT on the video.
Anuncios nuevos, ninguno.
Those people who purchase the controller will also get some.
¿Quieres entrar en llamada?
Part of that is the Forza Edition Ford Coupe, which is this amazing car right here. Looks absolutely a real eye catcher, just like the controller. You can see the paint job on there as well. It's inspired by the controller, so it will it'll match. You can match out the game and in the game.
Love it.
As we see here as well. Because it's got that exposed engine, it really takes advantage of all the ray trace reflections that we've got going on here in Forza Vista. You do get a couple of other things as well. You get a character cosmetic and an emote, so that when you win an event,
ahora enseguida hago llamada, un momento.
You can let people know you did it on the controller.
Exactly.
You can really rub it in. Now, I know we announced it on the Xbox show, but to confirm, when can people pre-order and get their hands on it?
I believe it might be up for pre-order now on the Microsoft Store. Yeah, if not now, then very, very soon, and other retailers shortly after that. But I think if you want one now, then jump over to the Microsoft Store.
Perfect. Right. Well, while you go do that, let's talk a little bit more about the initial Drive gameplay,
which
we just saw, and is, for context, the very first gameplay players will see when they experience Forza Horizon 5. So what was that like? I imagine it's a huge deal finally showing people that part of the game.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a part of the game that we probably spend the most time working on. Those initial kind of opening 10 minutes or so. It really we want to make a statement and set out what Forza Horizon 5 is, what it's going to offer, what great things you're going to experience over the rest of the game, but condensed down into in that instance, an 8-minute run. So
espera, Juanmi, que no se te oye, no se te oye, no te estoy escuchando ni yo, tío.
It just gives you that real buffet of flavor.
Ahora.
Yeah, it was really a challenge to try to show as much as we wanted to show without everything and fitting in within, the nice 8-minute time.
Hola. I love it. So we're actually going to take a quick look at the highlights of that gameplay in case you missed it. So let's take it away.
Novedades, entonces, un gameplay extendido del Forza, ¿no?
Sí, ahora siguen con ello, parece.
Siguen con ello.
Enseñando miaditas, sí.
Yo quiero ver algún gameplay ya del Forza a 60 FPS, tío, que no hay ni un solo vídeo en todo YouTube donde se vea un gameplay a 60.
El tráiler de presentación del E3.
No.
FPS,
No, va a 30. Ya lo miré yo. ¿Cómo que va a 60? ¿Qué va?
Que sí, que luego lo va a poner.
Pero luego me pasas el link.
Sí, tío.
Yo te juro que he buscado y no he encontrado un gameplay a 60 del Forza 5.
El oficial,
Pues claro, así se ve muy guapo tal, pero me molaría verlo cómo tiene que ser esto a 60 FPS, o sea, tiene que ser, bueno, así se ve bien, pero claro.
Sí, el tráiler el que estoy viendo ya ahora mismo está a 60, tío.
¿Cuál?
A ver.
O me lo pasas o... A ver.
Está a 60, tío.
Estoy buscando yo. A ver.
Mira, lo pongo arriba que lo vea la gente que este sí que está a 60.
Ah, sí, este está a 60, sí.
Sí, joder, el trailer de presentación de oficial de sí.
Ah, pues mira, yo este vídeo no lo había visto.
Tío,
a 60.
Pero si está a 60
no...
del E3.
Pues este no lo había visto. Y a 60 FPS no lo había visto yo este vídeo.
Sí, es una cosa fantástica, tío.
Joder, está muy guapo, tío.
That's the start of the game. So you do your initial drive. After all the adrenaline floods through you after that.
A ver, aquí sí que se aprecia lo guapo que está. Sí.
So, can you talk us through the cars that we have on the small
Sí, no sé, hicieron ahí un vaivén de cifras, Jero, con el tema de los modos gráficos en la serie X y demás, tío. No sé muy bien. Sí, dijeron como que el modo a 60 FPS no tendría ray tracing.
So these are the 3 cars you can choose from at the start of the game. First up is the Chevrolet C8 Corvette. The car looks absolutely stunning. The insane grip that
el trailer, tío, no lo había visto.
A really great car to start the game. It allows you to go super fast, but it basically never breaks.
Ah, claro, pero yo no había visto este contenido a 60, o sea, lo había visto a 30. No lo había visto.
Luego después creo que luego estuve pinchando trailers bien en calidad buena en el.
I would say needs no introduction, but we gave it a pretty cool introduction 2 weeks ago.
O igual fue con otro evento igual.
But yes, it is the 2020 Toyota Supra GR.
pero sí.
One interesting point about the car select in this game.
Pero
in
lo que
previous
están enseñando ahora es
we
todo a
had
30,
a
tío.
similar layout of cars at the start of the game, but you can only pick one. It
Sí,
was
bueno,
like choosing
a ver.
your starter Pokemon.
Sí, eso que la misión está a 60,
All three
¿eh?
get added to your
Pero
garage, so
ahora el contenido que están
pick the
enseñando
Super
está a
Front or the
30, sí.
Corvette. That is only a decision that you have to live with the consequences of for as long as you want to stay in that car, as the other ones will be in your garage and go jump into them whenever you like.
Wonderful.
Vale.
So we are going with the Bronco first. And here we go. Letting it all soak in.
Leí por ahí que van a mostrar
Exciting.
también
Not a huge
gameplay
moment
del
since you
Death
start
Stranding,
the
del,
game as well.
la Director's Cut.
There's probably where
Creo que van a mostrar también algo, un gameplay extendido. Pero me imagino que eso será, no será en la conferencia de
It
equipo,
still feels like it's a decision of consequence, isn't it?
sino que será
And you go
mañana.
default.
Es que no sé, no me he informado nada, sí, me he enterado esta tarde que era la Xbox.
I guess we should intro Andy.
Yeah, so
Sony no
for
hace
anyone
nada,
wondering, you
PlayStation no
will
hace
hear
nada.
an additional voice on stream today, and that is
En
the wonderful
esta
Andy, who is
Gamescom.
going to be playing, or actually doing the gameplay today. But we decided we didn't want him on camera, so he's just sat off to the side. He looks excellent. If anyone's, if anyone's
No
interested.
sé, no busca.
Yeah.
No, Jero, por cierto, buena Jero. No he pillado la mejora de Ghost of Tsushima.
The car, we picked the license plate. we're
Me
going to
parece
offer this event.
bochornoso lo que se ha hecho con ese juego, pero bueno.
Yeah, so we've taken part in the initial
Porque por un lado,
we've just
si
seen,
quieres la versión de la expansión son 20 euros. Y si además quieres la mejora con PS5 tienes que sumarle otros 10 euros más. En total 30 euros. No
And
sé.
we're also hearing some characters talking during this drive as well. Who were they? Do we recognize them? Are they new?
Yo lo que es la parte de mejoras, eso lo habría dado gratis. No lo habría cobrado 10 euros. Pero bueno.
Nintendo no hace nada y PlayStation creo tampoco.
He's also the hype man at the festival.
Teniendo en cuenta que estás vendiéndome la expansión por 20,
You'd have heard him
eso es que ya no sé por qué cobrarte también por las mejoras. Por separado. No, la mejora, vamos, yo creo que no es poco sustancial. Yo creo que si ya tenía, ¿no?
Yeah, we're in Mulhay, which is this very.
Me parece que el original ya tenía soporte para 4K, ¿no? Es que no
very,
sé.
nice, charming town.
Sí,
Just
¿no?
outside the town is some festival goers.
What are they
Creo que ya tenía.
Oh.
Es que ya lo tenía.
I'm really excited this. I won't lie to you. There's something so exhilarating about the showcases. I cannot wait to see this. What's it like actually making a showcase, especially following the ones? For me, the ones that resonate with me the most is Forza Horizon 4. So how does that compare to making 5? I imagine there's.
Y el Ghost aún lo tengo para acabar realmente, o sea, me lo pasé, pero tengo secundarias para hacer y todo eso. Tengo ahí como para pillarme, o sea, considerar comprarme la expansión, ¿para qué? Y tengo ahí contenido que no he acabado, o sea, que no.
There's a strategy because we will reach a point where we won't be able to one-up ourselves. But right now we
Es como, ¿no? Pillarme el Season Pass del Valhalla. Sí, me he pasado el Valhalla y tal, pero tengo un montón de cositas para hacer que yo qué sé, antes de considerar comprarme la Season Pass.
Ya empiezan las fumadas de carreras contra aviones y demás.
Hay un evento en el Forza 4 que me pareció muy chulo, muy chulo. En plan guiño a Halo. Hay un circuito de Halo y está muy guay ahí el.
¿Circuito? No, está el coche.
El coche y un circuito.
Y la música.
No, y un circuito tematizado. Lo que sucede en el entorno. Que pasa un avión de estos de Halo, una nave. Que pasa
sí, vale, sí. Hay un evento, una especie de carrera. Sí, que vas con el Warhol, con el típico vehículo del Halo, te ponen la musiquita del Halo y el avión contra el que compites es pues un Pelican.
Sí, uno de esos. Sí.
Yeah, and Ken Block's Gymkhana videos are a massive inspiration for me as well.
Te pregunta Oscar a ver si has pensado pillarte alguna vez una expansión de Féretro.
It was something that I considered when I was sort of making it. If Horizon was to make one of the Gymkhana videos, you know, what would we do? So that's the sort of the lens that I looked at the event.
Right.
Nada, tú, le bajan motos.
Plane becomes bikes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect timing, right into Guanajuato, which is our main city in the game.
There's those good brakes.
And just like we've shown in previous footage, Guanajuato is like super beautiful city with
un poco de flipaos, ¿no?
roads and underground tunnel network. And there's actually a mural right
Es
there
constante
by Big,
esto,
one of the
o sea,
murals.
es la flipada absoluta este juego.
Mural artist.
Bueno, estos juegos.
And yeah, I just love the
lo
color
sé.
and the architecture, the Baroque and neoclassical architecture in here. There you get a shot of the Guanajuato Basilica.
Pero aún así tiene muchas mierdas de estas, pues luego tiene un montón de carreras serias.
Sí, no, lo sé. Sí. Lo he estado viendo.
Más cerrados, así como en este, así de ciudad y demás.
Look at the colors as well. I will
Si le
never
quitas
forget
todas las
you
ayudas y
said
eso,
this
si
to me
juegas
on stream
sin
previously,
control de
all the
tracción ni
houses
control de
being
estabilidad ni nada de eso,
different
como...
shapes. It's so gorgeous.
And you
No, había una cosa que me
Lo
parece...
que no me atrevo es a poner en manual ya, porque el tema de las marchas se me da fatal. Pero...
Yo al final, al principio sí, pero después me lo puse ya en manual y ya no concibo jugarlo en automático, tío. Sí, me he acostumbrado. Al principio sí que tenía mi... Pero después al final ya lo he interiorizado y
yo creo que
me
si me
mola.
acostumbré es con eso, con el tema del control de tracción quitado y la estabilidad también fuera.
Sí, yo me quito todo, sí, yo cuando tengo la post me quito todas las ayudas, sí,
Es bastante más divertido.
En Gran Turismo yo me quitaba las ayudas también.
En este lo que tienen lo que tienen estos Forza sobre todo, que ya las físicas pueden estar mejor o peor o lo que sea, pero notas un montón en las curvas el peso del coche, de que como no vayas a la velocidad, como vayas a 2 kilómetros por hora más de lo que deberías, te sales, sí o sí, o sea, por mucho que luego intentes corregir o frenar o lo que sea, nada.
Bueno.
O sea, el peso del coche, tío, es algo que se siente un montón, eso está bastante logrado.
Tienes el botón, ¿no? Para rebobinar, ¿no? Si mal logras una curva, ¿no?
Sí.
No, que bien, yo no tengo nada que decir.
Seguro que no.
Oh, that was incredible. Can you give us any more hints? Obviously, the showcases are so amazing. Can you give us any hints of maybe other showcases that we've got coming up? Or I don't know, what you're happy to say.
Vi también una cosa curiosa del Forza 4 también, que tiene el tema de las estaciones. Sí, que es que cada semana va cambiando, es decir, una semana es invierno, otra semana es verano y cambia todo lo que es
eso en el modo de juego local, digamos, en el modo jugador, pero si te metes online hay eventos que son de estaciones aleatorias o puedes modificarlo tú o ponerlo a tu gusto o lo que sea. Es decir, aparte de la estación, luego la climatología dentro de la estación está bastante buena.
No, pero en el juego normal no puedes configurar la estación, ¿no? O sea, es decir, es la que toca, ¿no?
Es la que toca.
Es la que toca.
Puedes crear tú un evento para... Eso sí.
A mí me pareció curioso.
So we're still playing through the start of the game, and Haley, one of our characters, has called us up and asked us to head back to the festival. And obviously, as you can see, we are still in the Bronco.
Está bastante guay porque además las sombras de los árboles y los coches y todo eso se mueven a tiempo real. Según se mueve el sol y eso.
Pero bueno, pero eso es algo que ya está superado, tío. Eso no es ninguna novedad, el hecho de que... ¿No?
No sé, yo no lo he visto. O sea, a lo mejor es porque no he jugado a tantas cosas como...
No sé, no me parece tampoco una cosa a destacar, o sea, me parece que es algo que ya... Me parece algo que está más que vencido ya, que no tiene ya...
Hacía una tecnología del año 2034.
I'd be worried if I was them with this weather.
About to get lost in that dust storm, aren't we?
You bought a ticket for the day and you see that in the distance.
Está yendo a un evento del festival. Y este tipo de líneas yo también me las quita todas por culo.
También la de
frenada,
la ayuda de frenada y todo eso.
That is our first view of the Horizon Festival. I think that's the first time we've shown it.
So what's Haley talking us through here then? We've just revealed something on the map.
Yes, so still at the start of the game, we've completed that showcase event, we've headed back to the festival.
Una cosa que me gusta mucho es la sensación de velocidad que tienes en este juego también, está muy logrado, igual que en el anterior también.
So the one at the bottom there with the VW badge is called
que en el Gran Turismo le falta más chicha en ese.
Sí, pero es que los simuladores también, luego te pones un Forza Motorsport y también se nota un poquito. Pero bueno, es que es un simulador.
Es simulador, sí, porque
is a story called El Camino, in which
no, porque luego estuve viendo también algún vídeo comparando lo que es dentro de la cabina de un coche real, comparando a cómo se mueve, o sea, yendo a la misma velocidad que un coche del Gran Turismo, y la sensación al moverte hacia adelante es idéntica, o sea que realmente no es más lenta, es que simplemente es como es una réplica de cómo realmente se percibe el movimiento.
De cómo lo capta una cámara, porque estar tú ahí dentro en un coche de competición de esos y que te pega un acelerón de esos.
No, claro, ya.
Dejar las marcas de las uñas en los asientos, tío.
Frankly, just one of the coolest, most hottest cars in the world right now.
Absolutely.
Robert. Salido algún vídeo con
No, lleva they've taken all of the incredible technology from their Formula 1 cars and put it into a car that is entirely road legal and looks absolutely incredible, despite basically having the performance of a Formula 1 car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks incredible, doesn't it? Like
it's the shape of it is stunning.
The shark fin on there,
which
to me looks like that's there purely to show off, but Andy
es que a 30 da igual, es que no es sorpresivo, es decir, se ve bien, se ve muy bien, pero no se aprecia tampoco el...
No, y aparte la calidad del streaming también deja bastante que desear.
Claro.
One of the particularly awesome things about this car
la gracia es ver esto a 60.
If you were to purchase this car, it comes with a couple of modes. And it's quite common for performance cars to have different modes, but they don't.
Oh, sorry, mate.
They don't always. They're not always as cool as this. So on the steering wheel,
Con 30 y con algunos tirones, hay stuttering en la imagen también, no son 30 rocosos.
Sí,
We'll put it in track mode and we'll transition to street mode.
El streaming, no, es el streaming, sí, claro. Mira los coches, ¿ves? Como va dando saltitos ahí cuando pasan
speed bump or pop into your drive. Then you might put it into this mode. It also kind of smooths out some of the lines, looks a bit sleeker. The cool thing about that is you can just click that button whenever as you're driving around the world, and it really changes the performance of the car as well.
I was about to ask how you would like actively use it in Forza. Actually, was there a Sunday drive version of the car versus a race mode?
That is literally what it is, to be honest.
Oh,
this probably isn't the place that car would most smashing through this poor farmer's polytunnels, wrecking all the crops. But it kind of shows what the car can do. It's still a very powerful, awesome car, and apparently it's perfectly drivable through a farm field.
Yeah, as you can tell, we're in a new biome that we haven't shown before, which is the Mexican farm field, which is, I guess, farmland is a staple of Horizon games by now. And definitely for Forza Horizon 5, we have like some unique Mexican crops.
Estas cosas se apreciarán cuando esté resubido, cuando
I think we saw some agave previously.
What are we going to go trash now? What's this?
So these are Mexican beans.
Oh.
Yeah, bean plants.
Kind of a rough harvest.
Yeah.
Around.
I think it's worth saying as well at this juncture that we are currently looking at Xbox Series X gameplay, but it is a development build, so if you happen to spot any weird little quirks and bugs, then that is purely because it's a development build.
Una demo, ¿eh? ¿Siempre se ha lanzado una demo antes del lanzamiento del juego? ¿O durante?
Yo no sé si es antes o el día de.
El día de.
Seguro. Igual sí que lo ha sacado una semana o dos antes,
Because it's so tall and you could squash them, you could actually make some really awesome crop signs in the fields.
Leave messages for other players.
You can leave messages for other players, yeah.
And contrary to what Andy may have made you believe, there are actually roads within the farmland as well.
Encima es que las demos de los Forza Horizon, tío, es una cosa que te venden el juego, pero vamos. Lo
venden bien.
De una forma descarada, o sea,
right now
simplemente hay que probarlo, ya está.
Oh, we're on to the next car, Ari. Okay, so the next one, what's this? What are we going to be looking at?
We are going to check out the 967 Mark I Ford Escort. So from going one of the hottest, newest cars in the world, we're going to take a look at something a little more of a classic motor.
Viste que hace poco se ha enseñado un Lamborghini Countach nuevo, tío. Que no sacaban un Countach desde 80 y tanto.
What's cool about this?
Estaría guay que lo metieran.
Okay, so this is quite a fitting car because
no lo
this car
conozco,
took part in a rally in 1970 From the UK.
Sí, lo veo, es que no, los nombres no los sé.
So I guess it's sort of a Horizon
ves, sabes
4 to 5 transition there.
Es ochentero que la hostia ese coche.
Yes, there's a 16,000 mile rally across the world there, and yeah, and this car won. So it's based on Mark 1 Escort RS 1600, which they beefed up to handle all of the terrain that it would have to handle across the world, and it did such a fantastic job at it.
Those wheel arches are amazing.
Dice Jero que el Forza Horizon 3 fueron como 15 días antes. La demo.
Yeah, so the big bubble style rally arch.
Y este sale él.
On the front of it, if I try and not hit anything, big bull bar, sort of rough bumper on the back as well, and the little individual lights which are different to the factory car as well. So everything just to make it, you know, as easy to fix on the road as possible.
Y creo ¿no? que el Forza 8, el motor Sport, utilizará nuevo engine, creo que este nuevo motor. El motor Sport, el nuevo motor Sport.
Pues sí que me acuerdo de aquel tráiler que pusieron así, que era más una especie de demotécnica, tráiler, teaser, que le llamaron Forza Motorsport a secas, creo. No le pusieron ni número, que fue cuando enseñaron la serie X. La primera vez en los Game Awards, creo. Y pues ahora que lo dices, no recuerdo eso del motor.
This one's a Baja one, isn't it, Andy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, we have obviously the Bronco Badlands is on the cover. We have the classic 1975 Bronco. We have the Bronco Ultra 4, which was actually in the initial drive as well. You kind of thought it was the Porsche 911 in the jungle section. And then there's this one, which is the...
Andy, please.
Ahí muy bien, testeando la física, ¿eh?
Better look out.
So yeah, the tropical coast is definitely one compared to the west, the rocky coast. Definitely like the ideal kind of vacation destination. You know, the ideal visually when thinking of Mexico.
Tío, ya está ya con
And
mierda,
as perfect postcard it does look at the moment, if you're playing in storm season, this is one of the areas that can, when the weather conditions are right, can...
Todo está muy bien, pero a mí me han cascado 50 euros de multa por ir a probar un coche. Lleva 139. 50 con la reducción.
Wow.
Llevan 100 pavos.
The idea of calling it a perfect paradise after Andy's been through.
I know, right?
Mira, 139 en una zona de 120 o de 100.
Another car change. So many car changes here. So the next one, where are we going next? What have we got?
We have got the Ford F450 Super Duty, which is...
pista 1 aún, pero
pretty
la carretera...
car for us as well, isn't it?
Sí, Roberto trabaja con coches, a Roberto le gusta, a Roberto le pesa los talones.
4 wheels on that back axle, like two wheels side by side each side, means it's just got like ridiculous grunt in the back. It can go over any terrain, and it's absolutely massive.
That is a big, yeah. Look at that. So what's that? I mean, to me, that tells me that's an off-road vehicle, right? I'm trying to think, like, in a very sort of way, like, what I would pick this car to do, like, cross-country or those sort of, like, off-road races, right?
I think certainly in the game, that is probably where you take it. I think in real life, you'd probably... It could also be a work truck or even an everyday truck if you're a truck person. But yeah, it's certainly it's got that Ford Tough DNA, hasn't it? So yeah, it's built for the road, built for off-road, built for doing work in it, built for chucking all your camping gear in the back or a jet ski or something.
Everyone's camping gear in the back.
Hopefully we stumble upon one of our ambient trucks or buses around the world so you can see just how big this thing is.
It is massive.
Yeah, it's a 6.7 litre diesel engine. It's got 1,000 foot-pound of torque, which is just insane. You could pull your whole house along if you wanted to.
right. Fit your house in the bed on the back.
Or that, yeah.
With our little English houses.
True American vehicle.
And where is it on the map are we at the moment, Don?
So we are in
No hace falta que te excuse, Roberto.
To show off the off-roading and power of this F450. Yeah, we're in the arid hills, and the arid hills it's very kind of wild with these dense pockets of trees, which makes it really fun to when you're beelining across the world to kind of just dodge some trees and hit some smashable ones. So it's a very engaging experience for driving around, and obviously you see there's a bunch of undulation as well.
Había un grupito de coches ahí, de NPCs ahí parados atrás, tío. Atascados en un cruce.
That's why Guanajuato is so undulating, because it's set in a nest of hills.
Se nos van a arreglar nunca los juegos, los atascos de los coches.
Grab a good off-road car with a bit of suspension movement, and then just lurk around here, and any unsuspecting car which doesn't have that suspension movement can get eaten alive.
I love the idea of you guys just having like an afternoon where you all just set each other in the Eliminator.
That is absolutely what we do. That's Friday afternoons.
Love it. Is there any like unbeaten champions at the moment?
No, there's not anyone unbeaten. It's quite hard, I think, to stay unbeaten in Eliminator when there's so many players.
And then here we're transitioning into the canyon.
¿Ha confirmado si habrá ciudades y eso o va a ser todo así campiñas y rollos?
No, sí, hay ciudades y eso sí, joder, sí, acabas de ver una carrera hace nada que era en una ciudad.
O un pueblo.
Bueno, no sé. Habrá que ver el mapa.
So
we're going to go through the canyon with another new car. What's this one going to be?
So we saw a few Fords.
Una ciudad así grande, eso no creo, tío.
No, ya, me imagino.
So this
Poblados,
this isn't a Meccana as you would pick it up from the showroom. This is one that's been built by LP Racing, as it says on the back, who are actually kind of an aftermarket provider of motorcycle parts for like really performance motorcycles, but they also have a motorsports arm.
Hay como 3 o 4 núcleos urbanos repartidos por el mapa. Uno cerca de la costa, otro más dentro, otro ahí como en el valle de un río, pues eso.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Luego hay una subida en zigzag a un volcán. Buah, es guapísimo el mapa.
This is the modern version of the go anywhere, endure everything racing style.
The Land Rover Defender just feeling like he can go anywhere he wants.
I think he saw you in his rearview mirror.
Yeah. I showed him how to do it.
So John, what can you tell us about the canyons as we go through it here? It's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, so the canyon's really all about scale and just the impressive rock cliff faces and kind of just it's actually during sunset and sunrises you get amazing sunlight. So I know for photographers it's a great area to get some photography.
Yeah, because of those huge like rock cliff faces as well, it's like one of the best locations in the game to really take advantage of the ray traced audio. So if you're in a car like this and you're flying along next to this rocky wall.
Que tiene audio por ray tracing, tío. El tema del rebote del sonido y así en las paredes.
Y luego una duda que yo tengo. Estos juegos se pueden jugar con el Dolby Vision, o sea, son
HDR, punto. No. Tiene que ser la consola compatible con Dolby Vision, no sé si lo son.
No, pero la Xbox lo es compatible con Dolby Vision.
Pero para juegos o para contenido multimedia.
Pues eso ya no lo sé, pero eso tiene que ser el juego, ¿no? Compatible con Dolby Vision, el juego en cuestión.
Sí, tendrían que hacer un HDR, pero claro, a ver, tú piensas que estás limitando mucho también el tema de, claro, si pones un juego en Dolby Vision, la gente que tiene una tele también 4K HDR de puta madre sin ser Dolby Vision no va a poder jugar en HDR.
No, pero que me refiero que para poder jugar estos juegos en Dolby Vision, aunque la consola sea compatible con Dolby Vision, es necesario que el juego tenga la opción de Dolby Vision, ¿no?
Sí, claro, sí, imagino que sí. Tampoco se ha visto nunca esto, ¿no?
No lo sé. Pero la consola sí es compatible, con Dolby Vision. Lo que pasa es que no sé si en juegos ahí ya me pillas. Si juegos o en vídeo, en formato vídeo, no lo sé. Pero
Dolby Atmos sí, pero Dolby Vision, el tema del HDR con... No sé si soporta... No lo sé.
La consola sí, La consola sí. Metieron una actualización, sí. Y ya lo soporta. Pero no sé si eso se aplica también a los juegos. Es que si se aplica a los juegos es un bestial, La diferencia entre HDR y Dolby Vision es brutal,
So actually the second electric car on the stream today as well.
Sí, la Gearbox Series
So the AMG1 is a hybrid, so it's got an electric motor. This is 100%
Dolby
electric.
Vision.
Es brutal, os lo digo yo que tengo la pantalla OLED y he probado contenido en Dolby Vision.
Sí, que mi padre tiene una OLED
con
Dolby Vision y es un
experience of a 911,
flapa,
but
¿eh?
in an electric vehicle.
Bueno,
And
los
that's
colores, la fluidez, el sonido, todo. Es decir, es que mejora todo, pero vamos. O sea, HDR ya me parece bestial, pero es que si le meten eso es...
incredible weight. 0 to 60s in 2.6 seconds, top speed 160.
Sí, lo digo yo, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué? Tío, manda cojones, tío. Manda huevos.
Basically just like a 911, which is a
Pantomata.
sports car.
Sorry.
Sorry, mate. Yeah.
A ver.
Andy drives like me too.
Los primeros juegos que soportan esta novedosa característica son Borderlands 3, Gears 5 y... Hostia, pues el Gears 5 con Dolby Vision, eso puede ser una puta fumada.
Eso brutal.
Pero una puta fumada increíble, Hostia, tío, no sabía que había juegos compatibles, tío. Joder.
But maybe your dreams
En Play, absolutamente nada, tío.
Forza Horizon 5 out in November. Play it
En Play la mierda, tío. Tengo ahí una tele capada, tío, por culpa de la Play. Tele capada.
Does it do it? Did it feel like a
Un poco el micrófono este, tío,
absolutely.
me pega unas castañas al oído.
Yeah.
Incredible car.
One thing I wanted to point out here was butterflies.
Butterflies?
So actually, during a certain season in Mexico, there's a big monarch butterfly migration that happens in the canyon areas. We kind of represented that in our game as well.
This is such a stunning additional element to add, because it would only be if you go and stop.
Un día puedo llevarme la Series X a casa del viejo, tío, y pruebo el Gears 5.
I love it.
Por el Dolby Vision.
Yeah, so you'll experience this in the spring season, and then it won't be there in spring, obviously, but yeah.
Lovely. I think we wanted to drop one more because there was one more bit we wanted to show. I don't know how to set this up. What do you guys want? What are we going to do now?
So we actually revealed this car on social media last week, and we just thought it'd be cool to give it a very, very, very brief run around. So this is the Sierra RX3. It's a UTV, so super off-road vehicle, but it also is actually really high performance on asphalt as well. It can do both types of racing. Incredible suspension travel if Andy wants to give it a whirl.
But instantly spin into a barrier.
A lot of power going to the rear wheels only, so it's a bit of a handful. Yeah, but there's just we're heading up into the arid hills now, which again is just the I think the perfect location to show some of the cool stuff that this particular car can do. As Andy decides to.
Andy.
All right, and there we go.
Amazing. Yeah. But that's the very authentic Forza experience. Thank you so much, Andy. Right, well, with that, we're actually going to move over to arguably one of my favorite parts of the stream. We are now going to look at some community questions. The questions today are going to come from chat. So if you haven't typed a question into chat yet, make sure you do it now, and it might get answered on stream. The first half, are actually going to come from Twitter and your social posts, where this week you asked Dear Forza and what people wanted to know. So up first, we've got a question from Fireheart561, who asks, who's Haley and what happened to Kira?
That can't be from Twitter, because we only just revealed who Haley is on this.
Oh, well, that's a good right.
So Kira is still looking after the festival in Britain.
Okay.
She's still at the Forza Horizon 4 festival. Haley is her good friend who is filling a similar role at the Mexico festival. So she's one of the first group of Horizon people who've arrived in Mexico to set up this new festival.
Perfect. Wonderful. I've now dawned on me that these questions are actually from chat. So if we keep that in mind going forward, we'll forget the bit I just said. The next question comes from Mink WR, who asks, I have a question. Is the game cross-play so Xbox users can join PC users?
Yes, but Steam will function the same way Forza Horizon 4 did, so it won't be cross-save, but it will be cross-play.
Perfect. Wonderful. Nice and simplistic. Right. Next question comes from Wolf Sealers, who asks, will we be able to toggle our cars as a favorite?
Yes, you will. It will function very similar to how it did in Forza Horizon 4.
Wonderful. I love that it's just like a really passionate community.
Dice Roberto, play en la mierda y now un estercolero infecto.
That's what this segment is. I love it. Okay, the next one comes from Oof. Thank you. Who asks, is there a moving train on the map? Yes, there is.
Totalmente,
we have mentioned it, but I don't know if you want to give some more detail while Oof is in chat about the map.
Estercolero mastoideo, tío.
Don, do you want to take that one?
Está al Now a €1. Hostia, es cierto, tío. Bueno,
Sí, está €1, está €1.
aunque lo
Y
tengo
yo
que
lo he,
probar, no sé yo
y
si
yo
me llama
lo he
mucho la
pillado.
atención. Sí, ¿no?
O sea, no
¿Pa
estoy de
jugar a?
acuerdo, pero lo he pillado por pillar, tío. O sea, paso por el aro como un auténtico
Yes,
gilipollas.
Sean, it was a Supra. Back at the start of the stream, yes, we showed a Supra in that initial
Dice
cast.
el mono de Messi lo pilla.
That will be added to your garage at the start of the game for everybody.
Pero qué va,
Now,
¿qué
these are
te,
the
qué te has
questions that
bajado?
did actually come from social media. The first one comes from Forza Horizon 5 UK, who asked, will we get
Estaba
more
probando un
Horizon
juego de Play
stories,
3 que
and
no
if
había
so,
jugado, el
how
Asura
many? So we've seen a couple
el
today,
Asura
but can you share any more information?
Yes, we
de
saw a couple.
Capcom.
We saw Botcho and we saw El Camino. There
Me
are
había bajado también, bueno, estaba probando por streaming sin bajarme nada, estaba probando el Titan Quest. Y no
Dice
sé,
Roberto, la ha
por
pillado cual braga de vieja en mercadillo, tío.
le se lanza ahí el euro mal ahí.
Sí,
Ah, toma, para ti.
Says, how extensive is the tunnel system under Guanajuato? And are there entrances to the city from outside through those tunnels?
So there are no entrances through those tunnels. into the
Igual
city,
pruebo el
but it
Ghost
is the most
Runner ese,
extensive,
que no
tunnel
viene.
network in the game. It's about 2 kilometers
Wow.
of length. Yeah, so a lot of tunnel.
Wonderful. Scottish
Pillad una
Pancake
gráfica y
asks,
sácate la
Dear
Game Pass,
Forza,
tío.
I love this question is so polite. Dear Forza, I do not know if you've answered this question before, but
Entonces me pillo la
but what
consola, tío.
seasons will
Antes
be
de
in
que pillarme una
Forza
gráfica, me
Horizon
pillo
5?
una
Will they
serie
be the
6.
same as
Sí,
Forza
¿eh?
Horizon 4, or
sí.
will they be entirely new and different seasons introduced to correlate with
Es que la máquina es atractiva de cojones.
That is-
There's little room for maneuver.
If someone typed that on social
¿Cuánto me voy a gastar yo en una gráfica?
Ya, la
400,
tienen ahí,
500
mira,
euros.
la tienen ahí
¿Qué?
encima en la mesa, entre dos tazas ahí, parece que hace bonito y todo.
So yes, seasons are still very much.
¿Qué decías que te gastabas la gráfica? ¿Cuánto?
¿Cuánto me voy a gastar con una gráfica?
No, es que
Pero,
de momento, bueno, ahora sí que empieza a haber alguna más, pero es que no hay gráficas.
no hay, y lo que hay es excede de lo obsceno, o sea, a nivel de precio. Si te vas a serie 70, son casi 1000 pavos.
Sí, ¿o andas al loro de algún modelo nuevo así o no? ¿O te comes los cojones?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Ahora están bajando un poco los precios, un poco, pero insuficiente aún. No sé, aún es.
No es viable todavía.
No es viable. Mejor me renta la consola. Sí, mejor con una gráfica. Pero claro, consolas tampoco hay. Te vas a Series X, no hay. Eso sí, Series S tienes a puñados.
Sí. Claro.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Que esa no sé por qué no la bajan ya, si no se vende prácticamente esa consola. Bueno, sí que se venderá de alguna manera, pero es que no sé. No sé, en todos sitios está lleno de.
Porque será, habrá, o sea, como el chip que usan distinto, a lo mejor es más fácil de abastecer.
Wonderful.
Interesante.
So the next
O que
question comes
casi
from
nadie la
Cyrus
compra, yo es que no lo sé.
Luna
Tampoco.
O eso que
Nadie le interesa la Series S. Es que como.
No, pero sí que es cierto que cuando hay esto que en algún sitio, luego también de Series S suele haber un tiempo, pero luego también echando leche se acaba, ¿eh? O sea, tampoco te creas
Pues yo
que
siempre
sí,
lo he visto disponible,
porque suele haber, porque van rotando, pero yo a lo mejor yo creo que vas a Game por una Series S ahora mismo y creo que no la tienen. Yo lo voy a mirar.
Perfect, love that. Next
Siempre he visto que siempre hay
pero varía
disponible.
muchísimo, ¿eh?
We know
Yo
about
siempre he visto que hay disponible.
painting, but will there be other upgrades to the paint/vinyl system?
Series S, no.
Yes, Don, do you wanna?
Yeah, so we reworked a lot of how the vinyls and paint system works. We streamlined it a lot just to give the users and players a lot more ease of use.
Series X no, evidentemente no la tiene, pero la Series S.
And if you're on
a ver,
Series
en Amazon.
S or X, we've also massively increased the resolution of your
Eso sí que hay,
of your
a
car paint as
patada.
well. So where you used to get like kind of fuzzy
Yeah, no,
lines
sí
around
que
the
hay.
edges of your decals, they'll be much smoother now if you're on a Series X
Lovely.
or X.
Brilliant, love that. Next question. What's the leveling system like? Is it like 3 with a certain number of levels, or are we going to have a prestige-based leveling system like 4? Curious to know.
Hostia, la Switch que no las quiere nadie, hostia,
Cago
en la hostia, tú. Joder.
To answer the question more
Soy un
directly,
enfadado se compraría una Series S, ya ves, tío.
is more like Forza Horizon 4.
Y luego se enfadaría él consigo mismo porque
Let's watch. You want to come back and watch that one?
dicen que
Next
no
question
llega a la
from
consola.
asks, can you tell us more about the
En
radio
Game no la
station?
tienen, tío.
Yeah, so we actually
No, no la tienen la Series S.
earlier on in the show, as part of the initial drive, we heard there were actually original compositions for 3 sections sections of the initial drive there, from Plague Vendor in the farmland section to Luxury in the jungle section and Metric in the final section. And there's quite a few more original compositions throughout the game where we've contacted artists who typically have been a part of Horizon in the past, where we've licensed some of their music and asked them if they could create brand new pieces for us that are curated to particular gameplay experiences. In terms of the radio station more broadly, we'll go into more detail now on a future stream, I think.
Perfect. I want to know a lot about that as well, so I'll keep you posted on that. Finally, I understand.
Sí, es que esta la tienen que bajar, esta la tienen que poner a 2.50 echando hostias, tío.
They want to know, I can't wait to enjoy Forza Horizon 5. Thank you, Tommy. I tried negotiating with Playground Games to get super
Claro,
early access,
200, 250 euros.
200 ya es... 200 ya... hostia, es un precio ya. No sé yo.
Yes, Tommy Bargains.
Que fuera la mitad, algo menos de la mitad de Series X. Porque fuera más o menos atrayente. Es que claro, 300 euros ya es que... Sí, si no está mal, tío. Sí, y es pequeñita, es compacta y tal.
Pavos, por lo que vale una Switch, es un pepinorro en comparación. O sea, te tira los multis, te tira todo.
Que sí,
o sea...
Y incluso algunos juegos a 60 FPS. Muchos juegos a 1080.
En algunos juegos también te comen resoluciones polla y también baja algunos a 900p y tal.
Claro, pero si juegas en una pantalla 1080,
eso es
suficiente.
So to keep up with the latest Forza Horizon 5 news, updates and details on more Let's Go live streams by following the Forza Horizon social channels, and please stay tuned to the Forza channels tomorrow for Forza Monthly for all the latest on the Forza universe. Thanks for tuning in today. See you next time. As always, everyone, adios.
Adiós. Acabo de Forza. Dame Halo. Por lo menos tienen que dar fecha. Hoy deberían de dar fecha.
¿De qué?
Del Halo.
¿Del Halo?
Sí.
Sí.
O sea, se lanza en Holidays y no hay fecha todavía, estamos ya casi en septiembre, tío. Necesita que le pongan fecha, pero vamos, como... ¿Tú crees que no van a dar nada, no? Este está chapado ya, ¿no? Sí, ¿no? La verdad es que llevamos aquí 2 horas, ¿eh?
No sé, ya chapado, ¿no? Esto ya se ha acabado.
Ha terminado Forza, no sé si seguirán con algo más. Habrá que ver si cierran el stream, a ver qué hacen. Esperaremos unos minutos y si no, pues... le digo que se le convence, le dice el otro payaso. Vale, Jero, aproveche.
Vale.
Pues bueno.
Esto ya está, ¿no? Esto parece que...
No sé.
Demasiado estático todo.
Aquí dicen sí. Están preguntando por Halo, por supuesto. Aquí se va a quedar esto, ¿eh? Es que han estado diciendo Halo durante la esta, ¿eh? Que van a Forza Horizon 5, Halo, no sé qué. Han estado diciendo Halo, o sea que no me hagan hostias.
Y Dying Light 2 y eso nada, ¿no?
Sí, el Dying Light 2 ha salido el primero.
Ah, sí, ha salido.
O el primero o el de los primeros. Y bastante buena pinta. No sé. Yo probé la demo del primero y así. Y bueno, no es mi estilo de juego, pero reconozco que el tema de parkour y eso estaba guay. Y este segundo pues tiene todavía mejor pinta en ese sentido. Mira, la peña poniendo pollas en el chat, fantástico. Mira, están vendiendo la Switch con el Skyward Sword por 3.50 en el game.
Ofertón.
Y por 50 pavos más tiene la Play 5 digital, tío.
Es que no entiendo yo esas ofertas, tío. O sea... ¿Qué lo estás mirando en game?
Sí. Y un pack con el Ring Fit este.
Los packs de
370 castaña.
Una mierda, tío. Claro, es una castaña, tío. En todo caso, deberían de venderte el juego, o sea, la Switch y el juego de regalo, tío. O sea, con el precio de la Switch, 320 euros más. Pero, tío, si prácticamente, pues, no sé.
No pillaste el Scarlet Nexus al final, ¿no?
¿Eh?
¿No pillaste el Scarlet Nexus al final?
No, no lo he pillado.
Vale, es que justo lo acabo de ver ahora. Oferta, 50 pavos, tío, en el game.
Ah. Me he pillado Quake. Dios, totalmente metido ahí.
Scarlet, hazme caso que es un soplo de aire fresco que flipas, tío.
Juego en la PS5 en una pantalla OLED al Quake 1. Increíble, tío.
Madre que te parió, tío. Es que como te gusta oler a cerrado y a
al Quake a 4K.
Y a vinagrao, ahí a rancio, tío, a cerrado, a humedad.
Dios.
Amor.
Y me he quitado todas las mejoras que habían disponibles dentro del juego, me las he quitado todas, tío. Para que se vea todavía más.
Para jugar como el día 1 del original.
Totalmente, ahí. ¿No? Exacto, con los movimientos de los enemigos bruscos, sí. Iluminación, todo pixelado, sí, todo, vamos ahí, vamos. Purista al máximo. No, tanto no.
Qué lamentable, pues estos no van a seguir, hostia.
No, esto se queda aquí.
Han dicho Halo antes, qué fuerte, ya.
Y yo no entiendo.
Creo que será como una serie de treehouses de estos, yo creo que van a ser así, a lo mejor hay igual media hora o una hora entre mierdas.
Y una cosa, yo no entiendo esto de las nominaciones, o sea, ¿cómo se pueden nominar juegos que no han salido a diferentes categorías?
Pero ¿qué, ¿en qué evento? ¿En en la Gamescom?
Sí.
¿Y a qué le han nominado? ¿A juego de qué? A más anticipado, a lo mejor. A juego más anticipado.
No, mira, ahora te lo digo, voy a buscarlo. Es que está por ahí la lista. Es que lo pone por ahí. Es que tampoco. Gamescom Awards. A ver. Mira, mejor juego de aventuras. Elden Ring. Siberia The World Before.
Pero
o
¿cómo
Mario...
que mejor juego de aventuras Elden Ring?
Luego, mejor juego de acción. Far Cry 6, Halo Infinite o Rainbow Six Extraction.
Pero ¿cómo que Halo Infinite?
Claro, yo no lo entiendo, es que no comprendo yo esto.
Pero ¿cómo pueden competir juegos que han salido con juegos que sí han salido, tío?
Mejor RPG.
Qué vergüenza, tío.
Elden Ring, Encased o Tales of Arise. Ese tampoco ha salido tampoco, el Tales of Arise. Está a punto de salir, pero no ha salido.
Bueno,
no
el trailer
sé.
está en 60 FPS en directo mientras...
No sé. No lo entiendo, pero bueno.
Sí, yo... Pues eso, pues... ¿Lo han probado?
Es que no sé por qué esto, no sé en qué se basan para que eran ciertos juegos aquí ya nominados a mejor juego de tal, mejor juego de acción. Far Cry 6, si no ha salido tampoco, es que... Pero bueno. Es a ojo, ¿no? A ojo de buen cubero, ¿no? Es lo que... No, ellos dicen no.
Es una vergüenza.
Es que...
Esto sí que se ve rico, a 60 frames, tío.
Claro que se ve rico.
Incluso en YouTube, tío, que comprime de la hostia. Se ve de locos. Es muy lamentable, tío. Es... no sé, o sea... A ver...
Y mira lo que hay. Y mira lo que hay marcado en negrita, ya en el primer párrafo.
Encabezados por Elden Ring.
No, encabez 2.
Ah, encabez 2.
Vale, y en negrita,
me lo ponen, me lo subrayan en amarillo, me lo ponen en
negrita y
me
encima
lo
está mal
ponen
escrito.
junto a Elden Ring, para que llame bien la atención el área jugones, tío. Área jugones desea enviarte notificaciones. No, gracias. ¿Qué dices, tío?
Y ahí está. Todas las categorías, juegos de la Gamescom. Ahí está.
Espera, que están con el... Mira, están con el Dying Light 2 otra vez.
And this is David Lubryka, animation director. Hi.
¿Pero es lo mismo de antes o van a hacer recopilación? No sé qué están haciendo.
¿Esto ya ha salido? ¿Estos dos tíos han salido?
Sí, es de lo primerito que ha salido.
Ah.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
Encabeznos, tío.
En negrita, ¿eh?
Es que
y remarcado, subrayado.
Y subrayado de amarillo.
As you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this.
Sí, es lo mismo de antes.
Probably like many others.
Pero ¿qué está pasando? ¿Por qué están repitiendo esto?
Plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it, but it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city.
Están repitiendo lo mismo de antes. Imagino que van a repetir todo el evento. ¿Qué coño es esto? Porque, por ejemplo, Twitch Gaming ha dejado de emitir. No sé, no acabarán terminado.
Si hoy era solo Microsoft, mañana, a ver, mañana sí que habrá más cositas.
Para esto me lo busco resubido, a ver, ahí en están resubido en buena calidad.
Mañana Open Night Live Pre-Show. O sea que mañana oficialmente es cuando empieza realmente la Gamescom. A las 7:30.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this. Probably like many others.
Aquí sí que se ve mejor.
People had their ambitions,
Sí.
plans, lives.
Sí, hostia, se ve bastante mejor aquí, ¿eh? Uy.
The virus started it, but it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series? Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Pues eso. Bien, ¿no?
No.
Players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and it's gonna do great, especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft.
Están repitiendo la puta conferencia otra vez. Sí, pero ¿qué es esto? Rerun, sí, ya han puesto, me han corregido el Twitter. Una madre que los parió. Estaba una paranoia que flipas.
Was really just amazing, both from Xbox gamers and from the press. They've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know,
pues nada, pues hasta aquí.
Hasta aquí no, ya no hay nada más.
Ni Halo, ni Holo, ni Hulu, che.
A ver si mañana hay más suerte, de alguna manera, así.
Sí, a ver, va a durar unos días esto, pero no, si no han dicho nada en,
ahora,
en
claro,
el stream de Xbox dedicado a los juegos de Xbox, no lo van a decir en el resto de
conferencias.
Halo Infinite se retrasa a 2022. Os adelanto. Halo Infinite se retrasa a principio seguramente, a lo mejor lo retrasan 2 meses o así. Pero ese juego se retrasa. Esto más claro que el agua. Pues eso, pues...
Yo voy a cenar.
Sí, yo también voy a chapar esto. Pues eso,
Y
en
ya
principio
está.
nada destacable. En principio, bueno, el Dying Light 2...
Y el Forza.
Y el Forza. Y las cosillas del Forza que se han visto, sí. Pero nada más, en realidad. Así que nada, no vuelvo a joder una tarde mía libre en una puta Gamescom.
En la vida, ¿eh?
En la puta vida. De estas se aprende. Así que nada, bueno, gente, si quieres, Juanmi, despedirte de esta.
Nada. Venga, hasta luego. Nos vemos.